One of the best ways to improve employee experiences is to have a great HR service center for employees who need to engage with our people services. Let me show you how to set one up. Hi, Matt Barron, Product Specialist at InvGate. With InvGate Service Desk, you can build an awesome HR self-service portal to better serve your staff's needs. Before we get started, you can always grab a trial instance of our software at try.invgate.com and follow along, and you'll find a link in the description. Modern people services teams need a system to track the work of HR generalists and frontline staff. However, you don't need to add another tool to your company tech stack in order to do so. You can easily expand your ITSM tool to other areas of the company and maybe even share some of the costs of that tooling. So whether you're sharing a system with another department or still using a shared inbox, here's how to bring the value of InvGate Service Desk to your HR teams. To get started, you'll populate the HR teams in the system. Here I'm logged in as an administrator. I go to Settings and then to Help Desks. And in here, I've set up a very simple structure for HR. First and foremost, you see a lock here because HR's work is protected as well as customer success's work. This means that the other teams in our system, like IT and legal, can't actually see our work or our workflows or any personally identifiable information in there. So it's a great feature for HR teams. I've got my general help desk here set up with 2 help desk managers, along with 3 additional specialist teams below, so that if I need to escalate, I can escalate to our benefits team, our personnel development team, or our employee relations team, escalating them as needed. Once you have your teams populated, you can start managing work. It's as simple as that. You could actually just have blank work at this point. You could create requests, assign them to teammates, have them work on them. However, you might want to create some specific requests or specific work types. Since this is a self-service catalog, you might want to start entering things into the catalog. So for this, you'll stay in Settings, or if you aren't in Settings, navigate to Settings, and then go to the Catalog option. In here, I've got a couple generic requests already created for questions about medical coverage, salary, training and development, and some other services. Any services or inquiry that your team manages should be created here. And these items have some very useful features, like vacations, for example. Within vacations, I've added a simple icon to make it easy to identify that this is for vacations, umbrellas and beaches. Nothing says vacation more than that, right? Everyone's vacation is different. However, I've also added some common search terms here. So I've got PTO, vacation, leave of absence, time off, and I can leverage an AI feature here to use a large language model to populate these popular search terms. So here you can see now it's added even more terms to this search box. This will be great for people. I didn't think about holiday, for example, or maternity leave. So those are phrases that we want to have in here so that when people search for leave of absence or holidays, say they're in the UK, they're not taking a vacation, they're taking a holiday. So this makes it so that this stuff is easy to find. I've also set additional other things here. For instance, I can set the featured category. This would make it so that this is one of the first things that people see when they log into the portal. I can also see what team this is assigned to. At this point, I have vacation requests or PTO requests going directly from the request to HR level 1. So it's going to our first level help desk, our generalists. And you can see that I would add maybe a workflow later here if this is something that required approval or additional steps or shared work between teams. We'll get to that in a minute though. Now that your help desk levels and service categories are created, your HR team can start managing incoming work. You can even integrate their usual communication channels, such as email or Microsoft Teams, so that the end user can keep contacting the department as usual. But expanding the ITSM tool provides your HR team with more features to use. For instance, for more complex requests like employee onboarding, you can have a workflow. These workflows can be found under Settings and then under Workflows under the Requests heading. I'm going to pull up our default template that comes with InvGate Service Desk called Employee Onboarding. And these workflows will coordinate multiple steps between teams, including things like approvals and integrations into other systems. So here we've got an HR approval, and here we've got an integration out to Azure AD, now Entra AD. And this web service call is going to have a endpoint, and it's going to send the right details from our employee form to Azure or to Entra to create this Active Directory account. These integrations and work management features of our workflow tool will make IT's job easier when it comes to assigning assets and user privileges and interdepartmental work. You can see we've got HR working in here, the line manager working in here, IT working in here, and later we could actually add in a step to get facilities involved. I could set up a set of tasks here for facilities to set up the cube or office for the individual. And then these tasks can be personally set depending on what your teams need. Finally, you will want to populate the knowledge base with any policies, how-tos, and frequently asked questions so that your agents can reference them and easily attach them to tickets and requests. These can also be made available on your self-service portal for employees as they're searching for what they need or just poking around in the knowledge base. We also have a Teams chatbot that leverages a generative AI large language model to present these articles and other assistance, so someone can actually just ask, what are my benefits? And it's going to start promoting not only your benefits requests, but also your benefits knowledge articles. These knowledge articles live in articles, and we actually have a subcategory for human resources specifically. We've got some time off and leave stuff here. These, like this paid time off summary, are very useful features. These knowledge base articles are great because you can include things like, what are your time off balances? How do you find them? Really, you're trying to answer all the questions up here in this first paragraph. And your employees can have a discussion with your knowledge base managers or your knowledge article managers. So if they see something that's missing or have a question, they can put that here and you can have a discussion with them. And over on the right, you can see how many views these articles get, whether they're marked useful and when they're marked useful, as well as when they're marked not useful. Once you've been using the system for a bit, you'll want to start reporting on your workload. For that, you can simply navigate to Reports and start building. Here's one where I've got my agents and their volume of tickets by quarter, along with their number of stars or the rating for those agents. So if I go to a specific agent here, like Ariel, I can see specifically in the first quarter of 2022, he handled about 240 tickets, no ratings at all. Here in the second quarter, we started obviously promoting some of our ratings, so I can see he handled 15 tickets for an average rating of 4.67. I can also click on these tickets and see the individual work and individual ratings. So if I see something that stands out, like a low rating, I can go into that ticket and actually see the specific rating that this agent gave or this customer gave, as well as their comments. Thank you. I have to make changes like this often. Can we automate this? So great opportunity to get some feedback and close that feedback loop. These reports can be run manually or emailed automatically on a set schedule. The last step is to put in some of these requests to make sure that they work as expected. So here I'm going to create a vacation request as a test. So I'm going to go to PTO and I'm just going to search for PTO. We'll pull up that vacation absence and create the request. Now I'm getting pushed a knowledge base article here that I don't need, but I'm going to fill out this form to indicate when my PTO starts tomorrow. Of course, I'm waiting till the last minute to put this in, and I'm going to take it for a week. And now I can just provide some simple details. Need a break. And now you can see specifically that it's also pushing more knowledge base articles based on what I type in here. So if I say something like maternity leave, it's going to search the knowledge base and start providing knowledge base articles that are relevant to my request. Very useful feature, great way to avoid tickets being created that don't need to be created, that can be answered by a knowledge article. So now I'm going to put in this request completely by just hitting send, and my request is in. I'm going to log in as Vina, our HR generalist. Vina then is going to take this request and then puts in an approval to my manager. So if I go into Vina's queue, Vina as a generalist, she sees this new maternity leave request from Pete, and she can put in an approval by just clicking here and saying, Peter Norton, can you please approve this vacation request? And I'm going to request that approval and get that approval from their manager. And what's great about this system is that if you want, you can add a workflow to make this all automatic and base the approval based off of my manager, or you can keep it manual like this, whatever works for your team. As you can see, this system is built to make agent work very easy, and it's designed to reduce the need to train, and you don't need to wait for platform teams to change your processes. You saw that you can make your own workflows, make your own requests, and add your own automation, and you can do it all yourself. And this is just a small portion of the features of InvGate Service Desk that makes HR operations simple and easy. For more on this topic, check us out on YouTube or discover our solutions by signing up for a trial at try.invigate.com. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again soon.